Hi, everyone. We're back. And as promised, I'm with Nicole O'Connor. She is a financial strategist, and we're going to talk strategy. We're going to talk how to increase your money, how to keep your money, how to organize your money, and all things money. So, welcome to the show, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Kathy. It's such a pleasure to be with you and your audience today.
Absolutely. I'm happy to talk about this because finances impact us everywhere that we turn through all aspects of life, and especially as entrepreneurs. So, tell me a little bit about what got you into this lane of finances and strategy.
Well, as a little girl, I was always really fascinated by seeing many around me not really do what they said they sort of knew. And so this concept of like, say you know something, but then are you actually executing and doing it? And I was always just intrigued with this concept of like proactive choice. And as I observed those around me kind of flowing through life, I saw growing up that we struggled financially. And my parents had this belief like always leave things better than you found it. My mom was a nurse and then a teacher, and my dad worked at the local light department. So he helped turn the lights on for people's homes. And it's just so fascinating as I have really been focused in my business around really helping to kind of turn that light on for people and give women, especially who are super busy and carrying so much, that really financial empowerment and that freedom so that they can use their money to really invest in themselves and have more choices. So it really came from all of these layers of my own background of a child, as well as combining my professional experience helping large companies and large scale transformations and seeing for us to be successful in transformations, I saw these behaviors and patterns and beliefs. And really advising CFOs, I started to think about, well, there's so many individuals that we need this in our own lives so that then we can show up for our families and our companies looking good, being kind, really feeling like we have that focus and that capacity to be able to take on that next big challenge.
Hmm. Excuse me. It sounds like you shifted your focus a little bit from large corporations to more of the womenpreneurs and women in business.
That's correct. Yeah, right now I'm actually doing both. So I'm parallel pathing it, which is amazing. So I am really loving just helping women with financial empowerment is really a passion and I think a purpose of mine. And my professional background has been an incredible place to learn and grow and gain skills over the last almost 15 years.
That's fantastic. So you can combine the corporate, the real world, the big world, right? With us as entrepreneurs, which is our real world on a much smaller scale. So who right now is well, tell me a story about one of your clients that where they were in the beginning and what happened, what was the shift that you helped them make?
Sure. Yeah. So this is just as a disclaimer for a personal client, not through my professional role, but for a personal client, they were feeling a bit stuck in their career, and they had just gone through a life event, brought in a new family member into their family, and were really had big dreams and wanted to upgrade their lifestyle. And they were feeling at a pivotal point in their career on what to do. I want to be this way and home and for my family. And I'm also very focused in my career and my progression. And this isn't moving at the pace that I want. And so we worked together to really get clear on my clients' values and what they really wanted. And so through discussion and some of the internal work, which we can chat about, but really it's interior design for your inside, which is then an external sort of becomes your reality. So we did some of that inner work to really focus on that worthiness, that confidence, of course, as well as looking at the personal finances, looking at how they were spending their time and where they were directing their focus and their energy. And so through our work together, they ended up identifying an opportunity that what they have now said, they've now taken on this new roles that they feel like they've accelerated their career by 5 years and they've doubled their income and they still are able to show up in the same way that they want to within their home responsibilities and structure, and they feel like they're moving forward towards that lifestyle vision that they wanted.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know whenever big life events happen, you do kind of reprioritize and reorganize and try to figure out how to do best. So, was the goal for them to spend more time at home or to have a home-based business, or what happened with that?
So their goal was to actually be able to provide more for their family. They wanted to increase their income.
Okay.
And they were feeling like that they were already able to do their job really well and they could take on more and they wanted to earn more and kind of not do less. They are a very hard worker, but they wanted to be able to kind of be compensated for the
Mhm.
value that they were providing.
So what did they do? They up their rates or?
So they changed roles and they got a new position. So this is a non-entrepreneur. This is somebody that is in sort of the big company world,
Okay.
and they applied for a new job and got a new opportunity, and they now have a title change and a difference change. And if they had stayed in their same role, it would have taken probably 5+ years to get that role. But they changed environments through some of this inner work, putting themselves out there, believing in themselves, getting organized on what was their financial target that they needed. We worked through some of those like money blocks and emotional barriers and beliefs that we're not even aware of until we start to take action. But
Yeah.
then as they went through the interview process, they were very pleasantly surprised that it just seemed culturally like a great fit. And then when they got the comp package, they were like, this is double what I'm making now. And it's not more time. So that's always the juxtaposition that I'm working with my clients on. How do we scale your income in your life without it? How do we find those leverageable opportunities? How can you, of course, everybody's working hard, but how can we work smarter? And how can we do things in the right environment where you're valued and you're compensated? And for you, it feels more easeful and effortless because you're really enjoying it. You're in your genius.
Yeah, yeah, the code of genius. And I agree with you, Nicole, that you don't really know your code of genius when your mind is stopped into the disbelief that you're not enough or that you could never do that. Or, so I'm so happy that you start with the inner work um, along with the outer goals, because we can't reach any goal unless we have the inner confidence that we can do it, right?
Of course.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, that's great. So they got a new job, or they just promoted laterally or vertically, and
Yeah.
love it. Love it. Okay, so you're as a financial strategist, what tools do you use to keep, because you're doing two things now, like you have parallel like lives, right? You're in corporate, you're in entrepreneurial. What's your favorite organizing system or organizing hack to keep yourself kind of focused and on track with both of those?
Well, so it's kind of a two-part answer. I think first it's using my own body's wisdom and kind of our energy system. And I
Mhm.
work with my clients in that way. And so it's starting with a gratitude practice. That is sort of a system that I've been doing for over 5 years. And I'll be honest, coming from a financial background, I kind of poo-pooed it. But then as I've really done it, and I have an 11-month-old, so as I've sort of kind of ebbed and flowed, giving myself a little break if I haven't hit it every single day, just with this new baby in my life. But as I've not done it, I've really seen the power of doing it. So that's my number one. Morning and night, I have to come from a place of how do I direct my mind to see opportunities, to see abundance? How are we taking advantage of our body's wisdom? And our focus is really, I always say, health is our greatest wealth. Time is our most precious non-renewable asset, and our focus is our differentiator. And if we
Mhm.
start our day with where are we focused, everything is just so much more easeful. And things can just line up. You have those synchronicities, you've primed your brain and your energy body and your system and your electromagnetics to really be a magnet to propel and attract those opportunities. So it's really starting with the mind is kind of number one. But then I think as we were just chatting about the calendar, and I know you have a master class coming up, but using the calendar is so key. I think if you do not schedule it in your day, not only schedule, but then execute and keep the promises you make to yourself, it's just like time will just float away and you won't even realize where the whole day went.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think scheduling gratitude in your calendar is an excellent idea. I'm like all for that. What am I grateful for? I try to go to sleep every night saying what I'm grateful for, waking up in the morning, being grateful that I woke up in the morning. Just showing gratitude all throughout, I think is it. Now, you said a great quote. Okay. Can you remember what you said about time and money? Say this again, 'cause this is a good one. Listen up, guy.
Thank you. Yeah. So I always say health is your greatest wealth
Yep.
Time is your most precious, non-renewable asset,
Mhm.
and your focus is your differentiator.
Love it. I love that. That's a great quote. We'll have to put that in the show notes for sure.
Thank you.
Very, very, very astute. Okay, so talk to me about what you do on, well, let's see. What would you like to talk about that we haven't hit on yet? Let's put it that way.
I think one area that I think is really important to me, that especially as I'm working with my clients, is that it has to be in an alignment and it has to be in integrity. And a part that I really bring to my clients is I'm able to, and with my background as a CPA and helping my clients, it's really important that I can be objective and be in my integrity. And so it's it's important just to know, what is my client really open and ready to receive, and where do they want to move forward in their life and in their finances, and how do they want to use it. So it's very specialized and curated in the way that I think one of the questions that you had asked is, what is one lesson that I've kind of learned in business? And what I've really learned is that I have to go where my client is, meet them where they are at, and help guide and maybe help them see possibilities and opportunities, or maybe blind spots or roadblocks that maybe they don't see. But also, I think I've learned that because I love to see people so happy and have their dreams be achieved. I think a lesson that I've learned is that if someone is not ready and willing and open to receive, or to maybe look at something differently, then they won't even hear what I'm saying. So I think that has just been really a lesson that's sometimes it's hard to see the people that you care about in their pain. And I always bring back kind of the way that I grew up, that leave everybody better than you found them. But really I kind of let my clients take the lead, and I navigate for them in an objective, independent, highest integrity way, and really maybe help bring awareness, which then they'll come to a conclusion, or they'll come to a decision when they're ready.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And as an organizer, what happens as well is when they're ready, they're ready. If they're not ready, they're not ready. I mean, I have people hear me speak, or they go to a class, or they listen to a podcast, and 5 years later, I'm ready. Right. And I do believe that it's very similar with finances, because they're both very personal modalities. It's stuff that you really kind of have to open yourself up to receive guidance in organizing or guidance in finances, because it's a vulnerable spot to say, I don't know, any kind of coaching is like that. But I think in particular, our two modalities, very much so. So I appreciate that you let them breathe. And be ready when they're ready. And, the whole point is, let's not get our feelings hurt because you're not ready yet, because they will be ready. And, knowing that, I think, is a good comfort when we stay in integrity and try to push the systems on them, for sure. And I love the fact that that shining the light, that was one of the mottos that I used at the beginning of my career, is to shine the light on people's possibilities. And the fact that your dad actually does that. I always say we don't fall far from the tree, we just don't. So you're a
Yeah.
light bringer in your own regard, just like your dad's a light bringer in his regard. And you're a teacher, like your mom's a teacher, right? So it's kind of funny how that works.
It really is. Is that similar to your background as well? Of how
I'm
you
sorry.
got into is that similar to how you got into organizing?
Well, my dad was a minister, but he was Mr. Systems Man. And he had systems within systems. Every week he would have a better system, and he would tweak and create all this stuff. And it used to drive me crazy. It's like way too micro, but he just loved it. And obviously I learned vicariously from him. And then at the same time, my mother, being the minister's wife, was like the stylist, right? She was the fashion person. And so, I got my personal styling kind of hat from her, because she always just looked impeccable, and she always knew how to put things together. And So yeah, I think it's interesting how that happens, because the last thing I ever thought I would be a professional organizer or an image consultant, quite honestly. So
Ooh,
it's
that's beautiful.
just what happens, right? It's pretty cool, pretty cool. Um, and for those listening, if you have kids who are like or not liking what you're doing, just watch out, because they could become that. And it'll be kudos to you after the fact. Probably you're like, oh, okay, isn't that interesting? Now they like it.
Mm.
Yeah, pretty funny. Okay, so this is my year, and last year was too about celebrating success. And so I'm very curious on how you celebrate success when you feel it. Like, what do you do to celebrate yourself?
Oh, I love this question. So my love language is quality time. So I love to spend time with my husband and my son and my family, my friends, but we always just like take a moment to acknowledge, and sometimes just having like a deep conversation to me is so meaningful. It's like really those small things that really do make such a big difference. And so sometimes it's over a nice meal or going for a walk or a trip. But yeah, I think it's just spending time with those that I love and just taking a moment to kind of acknowledge it, or um, and for myself personally, it's sometimes just that own inner acknowledgement of maybe taking courageous action or doing something outside of my comfort zone.
And as with the 11-month-old, I'm sure just having time, with you and your honey is an invaluable thing and a great way to celebrate. I like
Oh,
that.
for sure.
Yeah. So, and congratulations, by the way, on your baby.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. That's sweet. Thank you.
So, if you had to look back and tell your 18-year-old self some advice, what advice would you give the little Nicole?
Mm. Well, this definitely made me very emotional. I was nicknamed the Energizer Bunny as a little girl. My mom said for the first 3 years, I didn't sleep. I kind of came out ready to go. And I think I would tell myself, just like, chill.
Ah.
You don't have to be so hard on yourself. Like, just have fun, enjoy. I think because we struggled as a family financially, there was always like my dad worked 6 days a week, my mom was a nurse and then going to school at night. And there was always just this like kind of energy of like, what's next? And boom, boom, boom. And had a very beautiful life and beautiful childhood. But there was just this like kind of like, what's next? Keep it going sort of mentality. And I think I would just tell myself, like, if you could see the life that you're living now, like, wow. I think I would just be like in awe.
That's awesome. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Massachusetts. So I live in Boston now, and I grew up in a small town right outside Massachusetts, right
Okay.
outside Boston.
Okay, that's awesome. I thought I felt a little bit of Midwest in there, but nope, New England. Okay, so I know that you have a valuable download for people that they can grab. Let's talk about that just a little bit.
Yes. So my Instagram handle is the Wealth Designer. So definitely find me on Instagram or on my website, thewealthdesigner.com. And I have a great guide that really talks about the 3 secrets to financial freedom and how to live a truly wealthy lifestyle. So often we have many beliefs and feelings about what money is, and it can get kind of confusing because it's like, well, money doesn't buy happiness, but money is a tool. And it's like many of these beliefs are unconscious and kind of passed down. And until we really take a moment to really look at them, because of course, nobody would intentionally be blocking themselves from receiving money or feeling like they needed to be a slave to money, to work super hard in order to receive it.
Mhm.
So in this guide, it really talks about the 3 secrets of really, as I kind of touched upon the first one around our mind and our body impacts our finances. So definitely go check it out. I'm actually creating a mini course as well that will supplement this guide, and it's living in that wealth of that freedom, the ease, of course, and addition to financial prosperity. It's not that we don't want money. Of course, we love money. We want to have prosperity. We want to have abundance. but it's also that spaciousness of time. We don't want to be financially rich and time poor. So it's
Right.
this really designing this portfolio of your life, similar to how you look at your investment portfolio. It's taking a step back and making these intentional choices around how you want to really design your life and how do you use your finances as a tool to invest in yourself and to invest in the areas to give you what you truly want. If that's more time or spaciousness or a new opportunity, etc. So go check that out on thewealthdesigner.com or on Instagram. You can download it, immediate download, complimentary.
Oh, that's fantastic. I really appreciate that, man. That's generous. And I love what you said that, I think a big, strong belief is often that if you have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of time. If you have a lot of time, you don't have a lot of money. And I found that to be true as entrepreneurs, in the beginning of my career, I truly felt that way. It's like, oh, I'm either going to be slammed and have lots of money and zero time, or I'm going to like have all this time in the world, no money. But it does not have to be that way. So go ahead and download Nicole's booklet and her training, and we'll look forward to seeing your little mini course is going to come out. So we'll put a link to your website so they can get in touch and stay in touch with you and get it as it's ready. So yeah. Is there anything that I should have asked you that you wanted to touch upon that I've kind of flown over?
Oh, I think one question that I often get is how can I shift my relationship with money?
Mm,
Like, I want to experience more ease and abundance and freedom. Oh, that sounds so great. That's so luxurious. That's for, oh, someday when.
yeah.
And I will just tell you, you absolutely can shift your relationship with money. It does not need to have to be someday when. I was kind of caught in this cycle of let me just keep my head down, let me just keep working harder,
Mhm.
not include myself in the equation. And that will not really give you a fully wealthy lifestyle. And so I think the number one thing really to know is that money is a tool, and living in this way is truly a consciousness and it's a choice. And of course, it has to be backed by the strategies and the proactive choices, and to be able to take advantage of the investment decisions or to find ways to earn additional income, how to leverage your time, how to outsource and delegate or defer certain things to not get caught in the shiny object syndrome. But I really teach a lot of my clients about shifting your energy and shifting your state, because it really does start with that inner work. And we go very deep. And I say to get more money, you have to go to the ATM. And the A is you have to become aware. The T is we have to transmute any fears, resentments, judgments, maybe any beliefs that were not even your own, but maybe that you kind of
Yeah.
caught or you picked up. And then lastly, we have to move into more money. And so I intentionally use that ATM. Let's go to the ATM to get you some more money. So as you shift your energy and you shift your state with new perspectives, beliefs, as well as the structures and the strategies, taking those right specific actions at the right time and really honoring yourself in the equation of your life and knowing your worth, and that you do deserve to take your time and you do deserve to be wealthy, financially abundant, and prosperous, your whole world can change. So I just thought that that may be just know that the power and possibility and the hope is very much within your control. It is not something that is outside of yourself. I think for so long I felt like I'm in this class and I'm in this situation financially, and not like a victim, but like I can't change it, or oh, money feels so complicated. I don't
Mhm.
know how I'll ever get out of this. Or I often heard growing up, like, when I retire, I'll do this. And I'm like, 40 years to then be happy.
Yeah,
So, or to then
exactly.
live in freedom and ease. So, just know that with the ATM, you can shift it, and you can shift it in a 2-second moment.
That's fantastic. Let's all go to the ATM, you guys. Download this and go to the ATM yourself and learn how to feel empowered, be empowered, make more money, have more freedom. That's what life's all about. I consider money energy, really. It's just energy that moves around, just energy that moves around, in my opinion.
Me
Uh,
too.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, we're so much in alignment. It's been a real pleasure to speak with you. Make sure to check the show notes, you guys. If you're listening, go online, grab the links. If you're watching, you're going to see the notes and the links right there. Meanwhile, I really appreciate your time, and I'm so glad to have you as a guest because it is all about our mindset to shift anything in our life, and especially around money. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kathi. This was such a pleasure.
Absolutely. Until next week, you guys, if you like this segment, go ahead, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment. Comments are awesome for the algorithm. So type something in there, spread the love, share this podcast. Very much appreciate it. Very much appreciate you, listeners, and especially you, my guest, Nicole Connery. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you want to hear more, feel free to subscribe on the platform of your choice. Also, if you feel so inclined, I would truly appreciate a good rating from you to me. Have a stellar day.